Welcome back to the Wedding Buzz. It's your host, Sydney, and I am super excited to have my friend John here today from Absolute Entertainment. Hey, John.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
I'll
repeat.
Yeah. Right before we started recording, we were talking about I got the protein coffee from Dunkin', and John was saying that
I'm team Starbucks. Well, I'm team like Nespresso, like make it at your house to save money, but I'm team Starbucks.
Okay. Because I told you that I got the protein coffee from Dunkin', and your answer was just like, I would never do that.
I would drink anything from Dunkin'. That's the only thing. Shout out to, listen, Dunkin', if you want to sponsor me and pay me, well, we can have a conversation. But
I mean,
other than that,
wait, Dunkin', it's so good.
Yeah. My people will talk to your people, and then we'll see if I can promote you on a podcast.
I can deal with Dunkin'. I go back and forth, but this protein one is not it.
If I'm in dire need of a coffee and I'm on a desert island and it's me and a Dunkin' Donuts, maybe.
Then maybe.
Maybe.
I will say they had like a cloud coffee over Christmas.
That was good.
That one was pretty good. But
coffee lovers, this podcast is for you, by the way.
It is. I love Starbucks, but a few weeks ago I got 3 venti iced coffees and it was $27.
Yeah, that makes sense.
For 3 coffees.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. Well, anyway, I'm a wedding planner, and John is in the entertainment side of weddings, DJs, hybrid bands, and all of that. So let's talk about weddings music, since that's why we're actually here.
For sure.
You're a repeat guest, so welcome back to the Wedding Buzz.
Do
you want to give a quick overview? Because I didn't do a very good job of just explaining what you do.
Well, it's also hard. I wear a lot of hats, and I operate and I work across a lot of different areas of the music and events industry. So, managing partner of Absolute, we're an expansion group from New York that's been in business for 30 years. We have a lot of great partnerships with hospitality groups, venues, event planners, and we were given a great opportunity to come down here a couple of years back with one of our hospitality partners, Lessings. They operate the Pelican Club, they operate Crane Club at Tesoro, Kravis Center, and they're continuing to build. So yeah, we had that opportunity to come down here. I'm also a DJ of 15 years. I traveled all over, and I played the clubs and lived that rock star life for a while. But my goal was to try and sustain a career in the business and get on the business side of things. And in doing so, I made a lot of great relationships and friendships. I have so many people within my network that support me and that, I try to support back. And yeah, we do a lot, from live acts to DJs to a hybrid of both. We work really closely with, again, a lot of our partners to build all of these great concepts and bring their vision to life. And that's why we are loved by event planners like yourself, right?
Yes.
We help with that. So
yes, you do an amazing job, and your team is always, they're early, set up properly, do a good job. You take the time to actually talk to the clients before their weddings and figure out, what they want for their big day, which seems very small, but it makes not everyone does it. Not everyone, it's hard to get some DJs to actually pay attention to what the couple wants. And they kind of just go do their thing for everybody. And I get it at the end of what you're doing. You're going to read the room and your team's going to read the room, but it's good to take the time and make that couple feel like you're really focused on their day, which you always do a great job of doing. And you guys do a great job. So that's why.
A lot of details, it's one of those things. You look at it from just like maybe an outsider perspective, and it's just like, oh, we're hiring a DJ, like we'll give them songs and they'll play them and, whatever, we'll dance and we'll drink and we'll have a good time. And you know what, from a simple, concept, it works. It's true. But when you apply it to what we do, there's obviously a lot of pressure. There are some higher stakes, and specifically when it comes to weddings, they're the highest stakes. It's that one day, that you have, and there's so much detail into it. There's so many people that factor in. You have to be on point with everything that you do. So yeah, just something, as far as details that
it sounds simple until it goes wrong.
Sure.
And I've
Yeah.
had DJs that, um, you know, beyond just the music, you're basically hosting the entire reception
Sure.
of calling out who's doing speeches, saying the parents' names correctly, announcing bridesmaids and groomsmen, and
Horror stories about like, and now Mr. and Mrs. Smith, when that was the client from yesterday.
yeah,
Like, or,
exactly. It's like they
calling
say,
the bride the wrong name. Like, could you imagine being a bride and putting all in? The next thing you know, like they say, and now welcome Alicia and your Sydney. And
It's like-
just like, or yeah, it's just I couldn't imagine it. Like,
no
one's perfect, but
one's perfect and people make
it's very-
mistakes.
yeah.
But it makes, it really impacts your day. And, there's kind of only one moment for your first dance or your
Yeah.
father-daughter dance. And when the DJ plays the wrong song or the wrong version of the song or something, it's upsetting. And so it's, it's a lot more than just playing.
Just press and
music
play. Yeah,
than
it's a
just-
lot more than just.
Which actually, I was going to talk about this later, but let's hit it now.
Okay.
Spotify playlists. People love their Spotify playlists.
Sure.
And two things. What is your feeling on like when people give you Spotify playlists? Do you like it? Do you hate it? And why is making a Spotify playlist and having a friend hit play not enough for your wedding?
Well, I think, to answer the latter part of that question, it's just not practical. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially for like ceremonies, for example, right? And it's like, a lot of clients don't want the expense of paying so much money for, having that DJ or having that musician for the ceremony. Because like, and I get it, weddings add up.
Oh, yeah.
But when you think of the ceremony specifically, you're just like, oh, I can just go to Best Buy or Target or somewhere and buy one of those little speaker things, and I'll just bring my iPad and I'll have my uncle Ron just press play whenever I'm walking down the aisle. I mean, sure, but like, do you really want to have to do that on your wedding day? So I mean, there's so much accessibility out there in today's world, and obviously with technology and everything that we have at our fingertips, Spotify is a great thing. I'm not gonna sit here and say that it's not.
Yeah.
But when it comes to applying it to our workflow, I don't always think that it's the most practical thing.
Yeah.
As a reference, sure. I think it's important for DJs to be able to have some form of planning. And, like, for example, we have music forums that go out to all of our clients. They'll get a link and they'll be able to, create their own playlist based off of a catalog that we recommend, new trends of songs. But obviously we keep like all of the oldies and good stuff as well. And then they have, other opportunities to go ahead and, put in a priority list of like their favorite songs, like their must-haves, their requests. So you have to have those resources and make them available to your client, because every wedding is different. And it's not always so easy of just saying like, hey, I have a Spotify playlist, go for it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just so copy and paste.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of it's like, you want to, I'm sure that I know that you guys, like, you read the room. So sometimes if something's working, you might play more of that. Or if something's not working, you might like move on to something different, where if you just have a Spotify playlist, it's like, you still need that real human person, like reading the room and keeping the flow of the event going.
Yeah. It's one of those things too, though, with Spotify. Whenever you're doing your Spotify playlist and you're putting things together, it's kind of like throwing all those songs at the wall too. So you may go through that wedding playlist, and say, okay, there's a September by Earth, Wind and Fire. And then after that, it's like, okay, now we have an Avicii song, and now we have a 50 Cent song. Now it's Yeah by Usher. And it's just kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
So for a DJ to be reading that and kind of also reading the crowd and being like, okay, well, where can I go and find stuff that applies to what's going on right now in real time? That won't be the most efficient way to go about it,
Mm-hmm.
So what
That's
we
a
do
good
is,
point.
we try our best to allow the clients, like, we categorize all of their music into the different eras and the different genres. So that way the DJ's referencing a form that has it all broken down already. So for example, if, we have the older crowd on the dance floor and they want, their disco or whatnot, or their 80s, their early 90s, whatever it may be, we can stick within that range and reference like, okay, this is what works in that era and within those genres. And then if we feel that the dance floor is fading and we're like, all right, let's go into more current top 40, electronic, country, whatever it may be, we have it all. It's so easy to the eye to be able to go in, see how it's all mapped out, and it just helps our workflow.
Yeah.
Spotify doesn't always allow us to do that because, again, we're just throwing things at the wall.
Right.
So unless you create different Spotify playlists for like every genre or era of music, sometimes the couples, they'll do like one set for their like cocktail playlist, which I think is cool. And then they'll have something separate for maybe like ceremony arrivals. So that's fine. But when you're building multiple playlists and just kind of rearranging a whole bunch of stuff, like you should be able to do that within your DJ or your band's resources initially. It doesn't have to, you shouldn't have to, I guess, rely on Spotify.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Which of course I'm not hating on Spotify as a platform. It's using Spotify for weddings, and I hear all the time, oh, I'm sending my DJ my Spotify playlist. And so I wanted to ask you like how you felt about it. So it's you're okay with it, but you don't necessarily want to just hit play on that playlist and like play it in their order. Like,
yeah, I mean, I tell the clients, I said, listen, go through our process, see how you feel after going through our catalog, filling in some of your own songs. And then from there, if you have your Spotify playlist available and you want us to add it as another reference, totally fine. I know some people that won't take a Spotify playlist at all. They'll just be like, no. Like, this is how we do it. And then I know some people that completely rely on Spotify. But again, I just think in this nature and with what we do, it's important that the client understand that and just go through that process to be a little bit more detailed instead of just throwing a whole bunch of songs on Spotify and being like, hey, figure it out.
I like what you said about the categories, because sometimes it's like you get into like I know where the DJ will play maybe like snippets of like 3 or 4 songs like from the 90s. Like you get like the crowd in that mode, and then you get the people who like maybe that like early 2000s like punk-ish type music.
Sure.
And like those people are on the dance floor. So you might want to play like 3 or 4 of the same types of songs in a row to keep that vibe going.
Right.
Maybe not the full length, but if on a Spotify playlist, it might be like that. And then we might shift to like George Strait, and then we might shift to rap or like whatever.
There's
and
so much that goes on,
that feels very clunky.
Exactly.
No, that's a good point. You and I heard lately or recently. So because it's like 2026, when we were kids, when people would be like reference the 80s, like 80s music, that amount of time is what it's like when we reference like
2000s.
The 2000s.
Oh, yeah. We're old.
We're so old.
We're so old.
Ugh. Okay.
Side note to that. Do you know what's worse than a Spotify playlist? And I love you, all of my brides, all of my clients that use TikTok. Please don't send a song from TikTok. Ever. It's damn near impossible to recreate that. We can, but I feel like TikTok has just been one of those things where that's like the direct influence of so much that we see and hear at weddings now. And it's one of those things, is it great for inspiration and whatnot? Sure. But TikTok can be difficult when it comes to songs per se.
What do you mean? You have brides asking you to like...
So like there will be like either like a mashup or something that's like generated specifically for TikTok. And like you could utilize things like screen records and whatnot. Like there's a way to extract audio. But again, it's just one of those things where it's not the best route to go, I would say.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Is it annoying when people want you to play like the exact mashup on TikTok? Or what if someone's like asking you to play like a trending audio on TikTok?
Not necessarily a trending audio, because most of the trending audio that we have access to those things. It's really more like ideas, or even maybe like an artist on TikTok that plays a song, but it's again not something that we can have access to.
Gotcha.
That tends to be a little difficult. And again, we could use screen recording and whatnot, but it's just not always, again, just practicality purposes. It's not always.
It just like sounds better than it actually works.
Yeah, it's not always the best.
So speaking of TikTok, we see like viral wedding moments all the time. And I think that all the ideas that brides are having is on, from social
Sure.
media. Like I think, when our parents got married, our moms looked at like bridal magazines for ideas, and now everything is, TikTok, Instagram. That's where everyone's getting their ideas. So what trends do you think like actually work? Like, have you seen anything from TikTok that's actually working well? Like there's grand entrances that are super choreographed and first dances that are super choreographed and stuff. Do you like that stuff or do you hate it? Or a middle road?
I think, again, if you can apply it to your event and have it be, practical, great. I just think sometimes people are they're so sworn to TikTok and like all of the things that, it's just sometimes unrealistic, and it sets this like, you basically set this expectation for what somebody else planned. And now that's going to be your plan.
Mm-hmm.
I think creatively it's great, to some degree, but again, I always want the clients to kind of make it their own,
Yeah.
as well. And just try and be flexible. Like, making it your own is the most important thing
Yeah.
to me. Because then you're copying and pasting, something that somebody else already did. But, on the flip side of that, there's a lot of cool things that, people do on TikTok. Like I had a really great client last year that the groom was a pilot and the bride was a flight attendant.
Oh, that's cute.
And they saw this thing on TikTok. And this is the good part about TikTok. They saw, a wedding entrance and everyone's like out on the, all the guests are out on the dance floor waiting for them to come in, and they've got their towels, going and whatnot. Not towels, handkerchiefs, whatever it is. And there's a voiceover of a pilot announcement saying like, welcome to your flight, blah 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 blah, all this stuff. And sit back, like, basically all the pilot announcements. And I love aviation. So I thought it was so cool. She was like, I want there to be a cool like pilot intro to our wedding. And then I want it to just be like a crazy high energy song that kind of comes in and then makes the experience, again, something that is more personal to us.
Yeah.
So it was cool. We made it happen. I want to shout out my DJ, Sean, who Sean's worked with you before.
Yes.
We worked together on that and he crushed it. So it was really cool. Yeah, Rich and Alyssa.
I know TikTok is like, it's great to get ideas. It's like I have such a love-hate relationship with it because it is great to get ideas. But I mean, something else I was going to talk to you about, which spills into this, is just content culture in general. Yeah. And I feel like everything is good in moderation and in balance. And same, like that's with TikTok. It's great to get ideas and see what other people do, and great things can come from it. But what's your opinion? Have you seen people focus too much on the content of their day, and like, do you feel like content culture like takes over weddings, or are you here for all of it?
I would say I'm here for it, so long as it's done in a really like organic, way that doesn't feel too forced. Yeah. I think the approach to content can be tough sometimes. I think a lot of, people, even in my field, DJ wise, for example, I think a lot of people go in with the approach of, I'm going to do this because the content will be good. Mm-hmm. But that may not align with what your client wants, right? So it's just like, you'll have a DJ do a mix of a song that he may have saw on a TikTok or, got inspiration from elsewhere. And just like, oh, I'm going to try this out at this wedding. But who knows, right? It may not be for the client. It may not be. I just think the mentality of content, everything being so content focused takes away from the task at hand.
Yeah.
And I think that's when you get yourself in a dangerous situation. I think content is great. I think as many memories as you can have of your wedding, and especially being able to have that instant gratification of just like everything right at your fingertips, and working with great content creators. Shout out to my buddy Rick from Slick Creations. He's incredible. But there's so many great content creators, and they all do such a great job. I just think the vendors specifically, they have to always keep the main thing, and, keep the task at hand at your focus. And from there, if you do the right job, I think the content will take care of itself.
Yeah.
So that's my
something that I've also, so for brides and grooms, like from their perspective, I'm a huge fan of content creation, but I think like what you said, it has to kind of be behind the scenes and organic, and it can't take over the whole day. I have had some brides that are like so focused on like the photo and video that I feel like it takes away from like, I'm like, you're not even having fun because it's you're working. Like they pay models and actresses and stuff for a full like video shoot. Like that's a paid job because it's really not that fun. Right. And I sometimes feel like weddings can turn into that where I'm like, this is a production set.
You're just doing it you're just doing it for the content.
For the content.
And no, you're not. You're not doing it. You're doing it because you want to celebrate with your loved one and, the person you're
exactly. So having someone capture the behind the scenes and stuff of the day that's happening, I'm 100% love that. Yeah. Forcing, certain things and the day being just focused on the content and certain videos we have to make and all that. I'm like, this is now a production set and it's, not the point of the day.
And you can tell. Like you can tell when something's done specifically just for, the content. And, like you wouldn't want your wedding day, something that you put so much into, to be force fed in a way where it's just like you're doing something so unnatural to what's taking place, just for the sake of getting a great video out of it. Or, it's all a balance. And I think there are a lot of new things that we're being introduced to in our world, every day. So it's something we just have to live with. But it's all a balance, and it's like, okay, I do want to have great footage, but I want my day to feel really natural and organic and free flowing. I don't want to, like, how many brides are just like, I'm so done taking pictures, or I'm so done with this and I'm so done with that. And I feel like it's just constantly put back into their face. And again, all of it just does is take away from, those moments like out on the dance floor. Like nothing's worse to me when it's just like, the dance floor is rocking, and then it just, you'll have a photographers, and I love my photographers, or my videographers, and I love my videographers, that they're just like, all right, stop the dance floor, we need a big group photo. Or like, hey, bring the bride and groom out here, or pull the bride and groom away from, dancing or hanging out, talking to their friends, like, hey, you have to be in here for this picture or whatnot. Like, everyone should be able to enjoy themselves. There's a time for everything. But
why that is because brides and grooms, like, I get it, but it's because of they never hire the photographer for enough hours. So the photographer
try to squeeze it all in.
The photographers, a lot of them have like an 8-hour package is very common, and it's not enough. We need 10-hour minimum. I love 12-hour photo packages, which sounds crazy, but you got to think about it. If the reception is not ending until 10, 11 at night.
Yeah. And
8 hours prior to that, let's say it ends at 10, 8 hours prior is 2 p.m., right? Am I doing my math correctly?
If they're staying the whole night, yeah.
So if it's starting at 2 p.m., if the ceremony, let's say, is at 4, it's just not enough time. Sure. You don't have time to do like hair and makeup photos, getting ready photos, blah, blah. And so what happens is that because I see this from the planning side, when the couple books the photographer, they're looking at the price tag and saying, oh no, okay, we'll skip stuff because I don't want to pay for the bigger package. Yeah. Then when we get down to the details, they're like, well, I bought matching bridesmaids pajamas. I need pictures of it. Well, I brought this and I need pictures of it. I need pictures of this. I need pictures of that. And so what happens is that everything now is condensed into those, which 8 hours sounds like a long time. It's not. It goes by really quick. Sure. So everything is condensed into that time. And so now we're still in the photo shoot time of the day while we're in the party DJ time of the day. And those two things really should be separate. We should have enough time throughout the day to do the family photos and to get everything that you need done. So then by the time we get into the reception, then it's party time and we're not still trying to crank out family photos and stuff during the reception. But it happens all the time because people don't want to pay for enough photo hours. Right. So then everything is packed on top of each other. And the end result is that you don't have fun because you can't get your party going, and the bride and groom can't have fun at their own wedding because they're so busy still trying to get photos in.
Well, I think too, like, when you add those hours, you give yourself so much more buffer time and time to just like cool down from it. I think, like you were saying, when you do so much, especially early on in the day, you get tired. You get tired, and by the time that you're done with your ceremony and you barely probably have been to your cocktail hour because, again, you're doing photos and doing whatever you have to do. And listen, it's all so important, right? But there's only so much the photographers can do given their time. Only so much, we can all do. But that you should try and give yourself an opportunity to get as much as you can out of your vendors. And if that means having them there for more time, paying a little extra money, do that. Specifically with photography, because you can have some buffer time and you can have a little cool down, and it doesn't have to be all, at once, or just have to feel so, you don't have to feel so overwhelmed by it.
Yeah. And the other thing that I see all the time is, I know you don't understand this, but wedding dresses are very heavy and big, and they're not easy or fun.
I've been in 1 or 2 wedding dresses in my time. They asked me to model wedding dresses, but no, I'm just kidding.
I was like, wait a second. No. But they're not comfortable. Like most of them are not comfortable. They're heavy, they're long, and they're hard to walk in. And the brides are like, from a girl's perspective, when your hair is done, your makeup's done, you're trying to and if it's windy and you're trying to stay pretty, and like you have this big dress and you're wearing heels, like it's exhausting. Right. I mean, my bride just this past weekend, we had buffer time in the timeline and it was good, but like, she had like 25 minutes before ceremony and she was like, what do we have to do now? And I was like, we can either keep taking pictures of you guys like right up until time, or if you feel like, you got enough, you can sit. And she was like, I need to sit. Like she was exhausted. And I mean, that was up to her, how many photos they wanted to do and stuff. But I think that because we had time, we were able to space it out. If we didn't have time, like it's go, go, go. And it wouldn't have been fun for anybody, So yeah, I know we're talking about entertainment, but it really goes, if you want to be able to have a good party and be focused on the party and just let loose, it's a good thing to think about, of get your photos, your content, and all of that, more annoying stuff that you want to get done before the party time. Yeah. Okay. I'm changing the subject because I want to talk to you about, your hybrid like entertainment options, because they're super cool. So tell me about them. So you get DJs and you get musicians at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a really popular option. I think a lot of couples out there, they love the idea of having a traditional band, but they also love going out and hearing a DJ and being able to dance and hearing original songs and whatnot. So I think it's the best of both worlds. And, when we did the first podcast, we were really introducing the expansion of instruments, into what we do. We've been working with, hybrids, infusions of DJs and musicians for a long time, dating back to, our New York team. But down here is just so different. And the couples love when there's a full horn section and there's drums. And, we did one 2 days ago for a corporate event. And, we had a bass guitarist involved. We had a trombone player. So you can have all of those great elements of a traditional band, but it can be led by a DJ. And it's a really cool thing. It's something that's, we work really hard on, and it's very thoughtful. It's, I wouldn't say it's super rehearsed, but it's a good balance between, being able to freestyle. How does that work?
Do you rehearse with, does the DJ do a rehearsal with the instruments, or you guys are
all of our musicians, and it just kind of goes to, the quality and the talent and skills that a lot of our guys have. They're able to pick up things so well. And, you have to have such a good, music knowledge to be able to, play a saxophone over, a horn line in a specific song and play it well, play it in key. So that's always really important. But yeah, it's the DJ being able to play his, do his thing, but also feature the musicians in a way where they can get out there and do their thing. So I wouldn't say it's rehearsed, but it's all done in practice.
Coordinated.
It's coordinated. It's all done in practice, and, we're not going from, a hip hop song at a certain, BPM and then going into like a, super high energy, EDM song because then the drummer is going to be super thrown off or, it's all relative to what's going on and how we can, create different experiences on the dance floor. But it's a really cool thing.
Yeah, no, it's super cool. I lost my train of thought.
It's okay. There's a lot of things we could talk about. Do you want to go back to talking about coffee?
Yeah, maybe it's better now. Yeah. No, I was about to say something else about the hybrid band.
Yeah.
I totally forgot. What's the investment on something like that? Let's talk about that.
I mean,
you don't have to say exact numbers, but
sure.
like for couples considering like a hybrid band versus, a regular band or versus just a DJ, like how do those things compare?
Yeah, I mean, I think the market for it is pretty high, not especially a great hybrid band. And it's not even necessarily just hybrid bands. It could be for DJs, it could be for traditional bands. Like there are some amazing agencies and entertainment companies, in our region. I mean, we're South Florida, so I happen to think we have some of the best musicians and DJs in the entire world that operate, out of this region. So it varies, obviously, depending on how many instruments you want with the DJ, because, we'll have some that is a sax and a drum player and DJ, and that's great. And then we'll have others where it's, 3 horn lines, a drummer, a bass guitar, a percussion set. So it can vary. I think a great band, can be, anywhere from, $18,000, $20,000, $25,000, give or take. But again, that's the market for it. I think a great DJ, same deal. It could be anywhere from, $3,000, $5,000, heck, even $10,000 if it's like a specialty DJ that you can bring in for your event. I would say everything is just kind of based off of the market. You can get a really great hybrid arrangement for less than $10,000, and you can get more of an advanced one for, between, I would say 10 to 15, give or take.
I think like from a planner's perspective where I'm dealing with, the brides and their budgets and stuff, I love the hybrid solutions because, it's just that it's a hybrid. So someone who wants a band maybe, but for someone who can't make a decision, it's great. Yeah. Best of both worlds. Let's get you both. But really good bands, are very expensive, much, much, much higher than a DJ by itself.
For sure.
But that's why I love the hybrid solution because you can get that live instrument feel and the live musician and, it's entertaining to have like a sax like jump out onto the dance floor and like play within the crowd and stuff. But investment wise, you're not paying for that full band. It's, maybe more than just the DJ, but it's a great middle option, I think, for couples as well.
Yeah. People know what they want generally. And I think it's one of those things, it's not super new to, our world. It's something that people have been doing for, a little bit of time. And personally, I just think like you said, it is the best of both worlds when you do it right.
Yeah.
You can't just, have a DJ and then plug a saxophone mic in and, have a drummer just kind of play along for 4 hours. You could, but it's not going to sound the best. We have a really professional approach to everything we do with our hybrid bands. We provide, sound engineers, audio techs that come in. So, there are multiple people that have all hands on deck when it comes to creating, the right sound from a technical standpoint. All of our musicians are monitored appropriately. They can hear everything from the DJ's mix to the other musician's mix in their ears. So we operate as if we are a band. There's just, there's just a DJ as the, I guess, replacing the lead singer in that case. So the DJ will captain that and the band will do their thing.
That makes sense. Yep. That's really cool. There's so much that goes on behind the scenes that people.
That's what people don't understand. It's the behind the scenes, part of it.
I didn't even realize that like you had in ears like for the musicians.
Oh
and
yeah.
You guys. So how does who's in lead? Is the DJ lead and the
DJ.
musicians follow?
Correct.
Do they know like what song's coming next or no?
I mean, yeah, it's important for the DJs to like, I would mix differently if I'm just DJing versus if I'm playing with a full hybrid band,
Okay.
So for example, like you have to be able to give the band enough time. Like you can't just, scratch a new song in or like quick mix into a different song, because then there's going to be a dropout. So that way the band can obviously analyze like, okay, what key is the song in? What's the, BPM of it? And then they'll, catch on and play. So it's just important for us to be able to transition our songs, appropriately and be able to give the musicians an indication of what's coming next. So, within that mix, they'll be able to have a direct feed of it, and they'll be able to know like, okay, I hear the intro to Crazy in Love by Beyonce. Let me get ready to, play that horn line or whatever it may be. So it's just about, thoughtful mixing and being really creative and giving the band an opportunity to be in sync with everything that you're doing.
Yeah. Do you have fun as a DJ playing with musicians? Is it like, now I got to deal with these other people and you like being by yourself, or is it like fun to be feeling like you're part of that band?
I love it. And I think it's a good mix too, because, let's say we have a 2.5 hour, dance period after dinner. Like once dinner and formalities are done, we have 2.5 hours just to be open dancing. The band doesn't actually play for 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
There will be small breaks because, you can't be a drummer playing for 2.5 hours doing the same thing. Like your drumsticks will rot, and then, your hands are going to forget it. Same deal with, the saxophone players and whatnot. So, they'll play for anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour, 15-minute break. DJ plays. Yeah. So it kind of switches from this full band arrangement where like you're hearing everything, and then the DJ has the opportunity to just go in. And it's cool. It switches the vibe up a little bit. And then obviously the band comes back on. So again, it's all very thoughtful. You have to be creative, and it is organized in that sense beforehand, where like we know exactly what we're going to do at those different phases of the night. So that way the band can recharge, and the DJ then has an opportunity to go into some music that may or may not have worked well with the instruments, or is just a different vibe that, everyone is going for.
Yeah, no, that's cool. That is very cool. Cause I mean, again, I love the hybrid solution, because when you have a full band, and this is no hate on full bands, but I think when you have a full band with no DJ there are some songs that you might just want the original version, and
that's the main thing.
And it's nice to have, the ability to play that track or play that original song, or, mix things in. I just love the hybrid solution. I feel like it's really.
I love bands are great. We do a lot of live music as well. Like we don't just specifically do DJs or hybrids. We have a lot of really great live music concepts. We do things like jazz trios. We do, brunch, like steel drum type of vibe with like guitarists and singers. Like we have little packets of live music that we do as well, specifically for like welcome parties, for example. Like welcome parties are a big thing too. So there are different concepts that we can create, and we love live music.
What I'm finding is that the big bands, like the full piece bands that are high priced, good thing, they come with a DJ.
Sure.
Some of them do. Like they come with a DJ, not necessarily
mixing, but they have someone that is playing the tracks. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We did some production at a wedding, more like lighting and AV work for a band, and they did, and this is a great part about bands, some singers and musicians are so incredible.
Yeah.
They did this rendition of Alicia Keys' If I Ain't Got You for the bride and groom's first dance. And when I tell you, I wish I just like recorded that so I could listen. And I love Alicia Keys, but like some bands are really great. So it all comes back to the client. Like certain clients will be like, I know this band. I've either seen them before or like they're great and we love and value live music. Let's book them. I love bands. I think they're
Yeah.
amazing. I just think the hybrid, like you said, it is a good option for the client that wants that middle ground of like original songs, but engagement and interaction from the musicians and just again having that best of both worlds.
And like,
feel.
don't take anything I said as a hate on band. I think
Yeah.
I am just I like the best of both worlds.
Sure.
Like I'm like,
Why have one when you could have two?
yeah, exactly. I'm like, why?
Exactly.
Like, it's not that I hate just a band. I just love the concept of like, you know, when it's just a DJ, there's nothing wrong with that. But I think having the musicians and the live aspect is really fun. I'm like, wait, add more. But then when it's just a band, then I'm like, okay, wait, like, you know, what if you want to play the original track, or, you know, what if sometimes, I don't know, it's just nice to have like a mixture. So then I'm like the hybrid for me, I just love the concept of that. But okay, well, I probably asked you this last time. I ask everyone on the podcast, do you have any wedding day horror stories? But it's been a couple of years, so maybe you have.
I mean,
any crazy
I gotta be
stories?
honest, thank God. You know, I have no new horror stories
That's
to report.
good.
And I want to give a quick plug here to just my team. I mean, they're just so incredible. They're so thoughtful in everything that they do, and we work, you know, really hard to make sure every vision from our client, every little detail goes, you know, as best as possible. So yeah, no horror stories in recent memory. God, I mean, I think they all come back from my early days. Yeah, I really don't have too many horror stories.
That's good though.
Yeah, Absolute's doing a good job. See, Kev, we're doing all right, Kev. Kevin's my partner. He runs the New York team. So,
yeah, I mean, if you came on here and you were like, yeah, actually everything's a mess,
it's a mess. It's horrible. Why did you even bring me on today?
That would be. Yeah. I have had podcast guests that kind of.
Oh, they just like then the rest of the podcast is all horror stories.
Well, no, they come on and they tell me like everything that like goes wrong, and there was one in particular that by the end of the episode I was like, I wouldn't hire you.
Oh no. Yeah, no. I mean, I feel like I just see them all on social media. I do see stuff on social media a lot. Yeah. Some horror stories. Yeah. You know, but I think again it goes back into all these things that we touched on earlier in the day. It's like you didn't want to hire someone to do the ceremony music, for example. So you either brought someone in, like a family member to do it, or you did it yourself and then it didn't go out the way you planned. And like, I mean, everyone's different and everyone has their own set of, you know, set on what's important to them. But yeah, I think it's really, really important to approach this day as like one of the best and most important days of your life, and surround yourself with the right people that are going to do the job for you. Like I just spoke with a mother of a bride client that I have coming up this year. And she's one of those, she goes, John, I just want to have a good time at this party. And I'm just like, you will, because you hired a planner, you hired a great DJ, you hired an amazing photographer, and you're at a great venue. You like, you know, there are some people that, and again, I get it. Weddings are super expensive and everything adds up, and, you know, it's all scaled to you know, certain things. But if you do the right work and, you know, you're dedicated to it, and you know, put your best foot forward, you do all your due diligence, there's nothing you should worry about on your wedding day. You don't leave a stone unturned. No, I 100% agree. I had a lead recently who, you know, basically was telling me how she's like, I have panic attacks and I'm really nervous for my wedding day and I feel like I need help. But, you know, she didn't want to, she couldn't afford it. And I have a lot of empathy towards that, except for I know how much money everything else is. And I'm like, so you're putting money towards everything else except for having like help and peace that day. Right. And I mean, I know I'm the planner, so I'm biased, but I don't recommend that. And I hope that the day goes well. But, you know, you gotta put money towards things that are actually going to make the day go smoothly, which is hiring good vendors. Yeah, I'll never forget. I had a client that we met, and this was years and years ago. This was before I was even here in Florida. This was up in New York, and the client was so disinterested in the entertainment and the impact of investing in the entertainment. She just wanted everything to look good. So she just like we're in the meeting and we're talking, and it was funny. The groom was great and he just loves music and whatnot, but I couldn't even get like an emotion out of the bride or a react. Like, I think she said 2 words like the whole meeting, and the groom kind of called her out, and the groom was just like, to be honest with you, she only cares about flowers. She couldn't give a damn about anything else. And listen, flowers are great, and shout out to all of our great florists out there. But yeah, it's one of those things. Everyone has their own priorities when it comes to their wedding, and it's all well and it's all good, but make sure you have a great planner. Make sure that you're confident in your entertainment. Make sure that you're confident in your photographer, that they have shot at the venue prior, or at least have gone on site visits and done their homework. And again, all of this it's very, you have to be very thoughtful in how you approach this business. And that's
I mean, wedding days can be very easy and very fun when you have the right people and the right things in place and you put the proper planning in, and don't underestimate that.
Right.
The party can be super, super fun, and it also can not be, and it just comes down to like proper planning and hiring good vendors.
And I don't want anybody that's listening to the podcast, I don't want them feeling like, oh well, they just want us to spend more money on things. You can actually spend less money on things, but take that money and apply it to the right things.
Yes,
right?
100%.
So, like in no way, shape, or form am I sitting here saying you have to hire a $20,000, $30,000 band, and you have to hire a $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 photographer. Like, you have to hire the right people, and you have to do your homework. You have to do your diligence, and you have to be honest with yourself. That's the biggest thing. I feel like so many couples out there, they make decisions about their wedding from, outside factors and outside motivations and TikToks and whatnot. I challenge everyone that's listening and all of the brides and grooms, have an honest conversation with yourself and say, is this really that important to me? Just because your friend had a big band or a hybrid band, or booked this one DJ, or just because your cousin just got married and you want to have a better wedding than hers and it's a friendly competition, whatever it may be. Just look at yourself in the mirror, have honest conversations with yourself, and make decisions that will impact your day, not something that you saw on a TikTok, or not a competition that you want to have with your friend or your family member or whatever it may be. Do things that matter to you.
No, I 100% agree. And same. I'm not trying to shame people into spending more money than they can.
You can spend more money if you want, but
if you want, I'll take it. But no, it's spending it in the right areas, in the right ways, and with the right vendors. Doesn't necessarily mean the most expensive vendors that there are. Like, that's not what I mean either. It's just it's spending your money in the right area with the right people, and having your priorities straight. Because some people will say like, oh, I can't afford X, Y, and Z. That actually makes the logistics of the day actually smoother and more fun for everyone. But they have flowers falling from the sky, and I'm like, okay, glad you have that, but everything else is a mess. Like, it doesn't make sense.
Your dance floor has LEDs in it, and there's all this going on, and blah blah blah. And listen, it's all well and good. If that's what you love and that's what matters to you,
that's what matters,
spend it all, baby. Spend it all. Do what you have to do to make it happen. But again, at the end of the day, you have for me, you have 6 hours from the start of your ceremony to the end of your reception, typically. And you got to make those 6 hours count.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
it goes by really fast.
Really fast.
Really fast.
I just snapped in the mic, by the way. I hope that's not an audio. Yeah, we're just snapping.
Well, anyway, thank you so much for coming back to the Wedding Buzz. I'm so glad that you're here.
We got to have a third. We got to do a third one sometime.
We will. Anytime. Yeah. Well, I think we met on the first time we really met was that first episode.
That first podcast.
And now we've met a bajillion
and
times
work
after
together
that.
a bunch of times.
Work together. We have coffee dates.
We have
It's
to
great.
do like a post-production of some of this and like put clips of like our weddings that we've done. And we have a New Year's Eve wedding coming up.
We
this
do. I'm
year.
so excited.
So sick. Pelican Club in Jupiter, one of our favorite venues. Gonna be an amazing
It's going to be a
event.
really good day.
So awesome.
Cool. Well, thank you so
Love
much
it.
for joining.
You're
Everyone,
welcome. Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year. If you need entertainment, contact John, Absolute Entertainment.